The RAF's high-tech drones have been flown for several years over Afghanistan by British pilots working in America at an airbase in the Nevada desert. Now, though, the squadron piloting the UK's Reapers is based in Lincolnshire, and the first missions flown remotely from here earlier this week attracted protests today. Demonstrators from groups such as Stop the War Coalition, CND, and the Drone Campaign Network gathered to express their fears about the use of drones.
I think there's something very sinister about the idea that military personnel in Lincolnshire can attack or kill people in far-off countries, thousands of miles away, at the push of a button.
So what is a Reaper drone and what can it do? Well, it's 11 metres long with a wingspan of some 20 metres. It can carry 4 Hellfire missiles, as well as at least 2 laser-guided bombs. As used by the RAF, it can stay in the air for more than 16 hours at a time, with around 95% of the UK's Reaper missions for surveillance. The controversy stems in part from the CIA's use of drones to kill suspected al-Qaeda members in Pakistan or Yemen without trial, sometimes causing civilian casualties. RAF pilots, though, have to obey strict rules of engagement over Afghanistan.
They're fundamentally watching over British forces and their Afghan allies in Helmand province. They're not out to kill bad guys in the Yemen or Pakistan. This is supporting British troops and Afghan nation rebuilding.
The UK is due to stop its Reaper missions over Afghanistan after 2014, when British combat operations there end. Caroline Wyatt, BBC News.
Britain does use these drones. They are MQ9 Reaper aircrafts, and all of them are currently operating over Afghanistan. They have 5 of these drones, known as unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, and have another 5 on order. They're designed to fly at medium to high altitudes, but can reach up to 50,000 feet. And since 2007, British drones have flown over 45,000 hours of surveillance and fired around 350 weapons. And although they're used primarily for intelligence gathering, they can also carry up to 2 500-pound laser-guided bombs and 4 Hellfire missiles.
Rural Lincolnshire is an unlikely place to fight a war, but then that's the point. Afghanistan is 3,500 miles away, but as of this week, staff here at RAF Waddington have started to control the unmanned aircraft that take off and land in Kandahar. It hasn't gone unnoticed. A coalition of anti-war campaigners made sure of that.
We've come because we don't feel that our government should be killing people thousands of miles away without trial, without conviction.
It is a very, very wicked thing to do. We must not condone it, and a lot of our people do not know that we're doing this, in fact.
They encourage governments to use weapons to kill people in other lands without taking any responsibility because they feel it doesn't put their troops at risk.
The RAF has 5 Reaper aircraft. All of them currently operate over Afghanistan, and another 5 will be delivered this summer. They're designed to fly at medium to high altitudes, but can reach up to 50,000 feet. Since 2007, British drones have flown over 45,000 hours and have fired around 350 weapons. The British government is adamant it only operates a drone programme in a country that it has a legitimate right to be in, namely Afghanistan. But what of the benefits of unmanned aircraft? The space to assess the situation, the time to consider a response, for example, and all in a comfy chair, not at hundreds of miles per hour in a cramped and hot cockpit.
Another large advantage is, we call it flying at 1G. You're sitting stationary in a box. Your head's not on fire, trying to work out where you are in the airspace, what time you have to be in a certain position. Very stable, considerably more levels of supervision. And again, that's deliberate because in an aircraft flying in Afghanistan or Iraq previously, you couldn't provide that level of supervision. It's impossible. But you can now with unmanned aircraft.
The MOD insists the drones are operated under the same rules of engagement as manned aircraft and that everything possible is done to avoid civilian casualties. Here in Lincolnshire, they're unlikely to ever see the unmanned aircraft, but while the drone operators call this base home, the protesters will keep up their campaign. Rhiannon Mills, Sky News.